So they're talking about demoing the building, right? This existing structure. The existing structure's right here. Let's jump into something here. What is this, guys? What is this? Look. Look at these lines. Let me show you the side profile. This is, you guys know where this is. You saw the chair up there. And when we zoom in, there's a chair. There's it looks like the door section. I think it's about that color. Oops. Let's get out of that. That's about that color. What is this? And then what's that? All right. It appears the exterior with some type of insulation. And then the plaster board there. There's a column. So here's the column right there. What I want to show you is page 5 of 17 of structural plans. This existing building, this existing structure right here is built like a shithouse. It's built. It is built. It's built like a girls that were built in the 1980s. They were built. All right. So look at this. This is beam 1. Oh, okay. This is beam 3. Beam 32, 31, beam 4, beam 5, beam 6, and so on. This whole second floor, this is the second floor detail. Second floor framing is not built like the other part of the structure. We're still on the same floor. Second floor is just slabbing floor. The same thing as the deck out there, how the deck was built. The second floor was built from there on up. I think this is second floor to the 8th floor, or something like that. And they changed the design a little bit, but so maybe. But look at the this floor. Where are the beams? They're below in the parking garage to support some of this some of the pool section. Some of the pool section over there. This is where they drive in. The second floor, as you look down, this would be the driveway in. There is that stairwell, I believe. And then as you come back this way, you wind up in the pool area, which would be back here. Second floor framing again. That building has got columns all over the place. They ran columns here. Now across here, it looks like it's just decking. So I'm trying to find the weak lateral point to make this thing shift over. And I tell you what, I'm not getting it. That might be a little tougher little bitch to come down than it looks. That second floor, I mean, it looks like if you can blast from the second floor up and then come and take the second floor out manually is the way to go, because these beams, here's beam number 14. Well, there's multiple. The tie across from this beam to this floor in that little alcove is nothing but concrete. That's a freebie. The tie from here to here is a freebie again. You can shear off this the building and have this wall freestanding. So this wall's got to be buckled. That's a shear wall, the elevator area. This is what's left. This is a freebie from here to here. There's no beams. But that front part of that building, if they're saying is going to come down, that second floor is a bear. So you would simply go to the second floor and start looking at these column interactions with the column below it to see if they're plumb. If they're plumb, then you can determine the second floor and first floor are stable. And you go to the third floor and you look at each one of those columns and you say they're plumb. Now, when I say look at them, they're covered. So you're going to use their covering to see if there's cracks in them first off. And if you don't see the cracks, well, then the thing's not shifting. You need the columns to move for the building to shift. The building will not shift without columns moving. Okay, back to this image. What is this? Look at this. First floor, or was that the first? Let's go there. Second floor, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Roof deck. These are where the slabs line up with the building. As we saw in the first collapse, as I theorized that the first part of the floorings collapsed, pancaked more than the rest. We see here that you don't see that. lateral movement. Those are more pancaking up top. And then a lateral movement happened, which caused these stress cracks back here. This pulled the whole slab, shifting the whole slab. And this, let me cough. Excuse me. It's pulled on it. These like anchors that dragging from the building sideways, shifting sideways. But it was a rotation outward towards us. That's why it looks like it's buckling. In reality, it's not buckling. The slab did a little rotation to push the wall out. And that's why you see the popping also of each one of these materials. So it all the way down to the bottom even rotated. This floor here ripped off, and that took rotation. So that as we look down from the top, from the sky down, that will be a clockwise rotation, a turn to the right. And that's when we get our turn to the right. That means a twisting rotation torque took place when this back wall fell. It pulled and it went that direction. As it did so, it was again the rotation, and as it rotated, it would have ripped it like you rip a piece of paper. But it started here rotating that. The top floors, that's why they look so much intact there, because they just pancaked it down. The front columns then rotated even more and pulling, and they're all slab, so they're all, here it again, hold on. So they're all a slab going across, reinforcement, and it's just got to pull it off these heads a bit. They did their rotation, so get more orientation. So from here over to, let's call it roughly about here, when they rotated, when the pads rotated, they ripped off like the tabs I was talking about, just sheared off the top of it. I'll do a wooden plywood demo or something like that in a bit, but right now I'm going to just give you some data first. So you don't see that rotation happening here at these top floors. 1, 2, 3, 4. This does not support the idea that the top floors buckled and this caused a collapse. This could, but it doesn't support it because we don't have the top floors collapsing and then the deck and then people making phone calls and then saying that the deck is collapsing out here. If the video time is the time has not been interrupted, speed up or slow down, then we don't have the floors above collapsing in and then people making phone calls. 8 minutes later, they're walking out. No, the witnesses we have to go with state that they heard the earthquake. The earthquake was happening. Tom, we spoke. Tom and I had a little meeting there, and he added other details that the one older lady, she's added now into her details that the cracks are about 2 feet, you can put 2 fingers in the crack. I'm assuming she means her fingers. It does not mean she did it. In the outside wall that was cracking. It woke up a lot of people. This could have woken up people, and part of that cracking and popping could be part of the rotation. The bottom could have been rotating, and then it rotated, scaring people to make it and jamming doors, etc. And what could not take the rotation was the softer top of floors. Again, so 12, 11, 10, 9. Columns. This is a structural sheet, so it's a little different setup than the other sheet that I looked at. So yeah, let me go the other way. So we got beams, they had columns and beams on top of each other. So let's see. Beams. There, where are my columns? Really? It appears. Are you kidding me? Okay. Beam. Sorry, I'm thinking about something here. Well, they didn't want any of the block fill-in that happened until the building was done. Stirrups, beams, columns. There we go, columns. All right. So a floor we change over to, of all things, 4,000 psi. We change over from in the columns. to 4,000 psi across all columns. Going back to the image, we get to the 8th floor. So there's one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh wow! What are the odds of that? 8th floor. Huh? They changed over to 4,000 psi from 6,000. So this would participate in your collapse because you have your engagement is even weaker than the floors below. That's a biased statement, but it's a factual statement because 5,000 is weaker than 4,000. So any interactions you have between 5,000 and 4,000 is going to be weaker. So your column transition, and those are columns supporting it, will be weaker. So this is critical with that. And then from there, those pancaking floors, and the rotation happens. But let's go back to the structure as I stated that it's going to be a little bit of work now. That second floor up is reinforced like no other part of the structure. That would be page, I don't know. Let me zoom out a bit. It's the basement floor level plan. That's where you want to take it out. There are no beams there. They put the beams on the second floor. See basement level? And I said if you're going to take this building out, it would be there. Problem is that second floor might want to just fall, might just want to go right, boop, drop down, and start hope and be a wild card to maintain the building. You'll try to control the rotation. The failure, you want it to go towards the stockpile materials that are there now. Depending on the height is 100 and some change. This building will want to pancake once it gets out of plane because the other floors do not have beams in them. So it will still want to pancake above there, but the second floor, you blow the bottom floor, this thing just might, if you blew, it might just set down, and then you got the building still in compression. It might not be friendly towards where you want it to go. So you'd have to blow the bottom floor to help this start rotating, and then what we might see would be interesting. So this whole second floor from where all these beams interact stay intact. From here all the way around to this side, we might see an L shape stay intact. This would probably go because there's nothing really connecting these two besides some reinforcement. This will go. This piece here will be a freebie. Again, the second floor is these beams tie in pretty damn well. You'd want to break these beams. You'd want these beam separation to happen to get this rotation. You don't want this also to act like a jack to hold it up. So the beam separation, but you want it to be rotating when the secondary blast would already make it weaker on this side. It's not cantilevering much at all. This is what's left. This is a very strong second section. Now, let's talk about nefarious means, nefarious statements. And this is not speculation. This is true of all municipalities. They want to make money. They'd rather not demo any building. They'd rather put it back on the books. This is going back on the books for tax reasons. There's too much money to be lost here. They're going to get this thing back up, and a building, they're going to be, accelerating the court process. The mortgages are still due. The mortgages are still due on all these properties. The mortgages did not stop unless the emergency act from the governor stopped it. It might have done. I don't know if that does that or not. That's part of the emergency act. What's important, though, is the historical preservation community. It's very important. They want tax money. Surfside, Florida, has put this document in here. Thank you to a viewer who said you should open a historical preservation community's document. What's really important about this is that it's inside Champlain Tower's public records documents. Why is the Preservation Society allowed to put something inside here at this time that looks like this? It's a PDF. That's that cat. That's Shadow, guys. You hear in the background. She's wants me to get out of her room, and we're sharing the room now. I'm here keeping her company. So it looks document received June 29th. So the collapse happened June 24th. 5 days later, they received this document. And and they don't like the owner of this tower here, because 5 days later, they've already, the Historical Society has already put together a document that shows hatred towards that build, and the builder lied. He said he was going to redo this building, and then no sooner, and they gave him an exemption to go closer to the beach, and then he said, well, that building structurally can't be saved. I'm going to tear it down and build this new structure. I'll just do that. I'll build a new structure, and because I have a permit to go further out, right here, I'll still use my permit and put the pools out there, etc., closer to the beach line, where the property line should be back here. So that sort of pissed off the Historical Society, and they put this document forward, I believe. Demolition of an iconic North Beach, I don't know, whatever, the hotel. It goes on, but watch this. So here's your document, your narrative they put together, Historical Society. And then this is where it gets a little pissed. So there's the collapse. They're trying to say the collapse is center line. Look at the epicenter. This is the Historical Society already putting together their what you guys seen in many people's video, zones broken up. So you want to, they're the zones. There's that little peace out, bump out. 1, 2, 3. This is how they theorize it. Collapsed. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this is sharing two walls. So I don't know how you get the 1, 2, 3 there. The column. These two are interacting as far as I'm concerned. But look what they did here. They just overlaid the structure of the building that's across the foundation, red ink, and it looks like they lined up columns. It said these columns lined up with the inside of that collapse here, right here. But disregarding these 3 columns are still in fucking place, still there. These columns didn't fail. They said, fuck it, we'll just disregard that and say it went over here. It went into this building and caused a collapse here. But the video shows it's over here. Don't let facts get in the way. There they are right there. Don't let facts get in the way. They run it right down the edge of the column, right on top, next to these columns, and it misses that and goes to the building. This is the narrative that Surfside's put up. Oh, wait a minute. Now we just shifted just a little bit in the next image. Here we clip the we're clipping the edge of the building right here, the column. But here we don't clip anymore, and we just change the direction a little bit and put it more this way now. So here we clip the building. Here we clip it right along the edge and show that as zone 1. Over here, because their narrative, you just change it. Now they moved it over to here. That's zone 3. Zone 2 for them. That's zone 2 for them. Some debunking, but also telling you what Surfside's up to. They're not going to blame this on. They're going to blame this on building next door. Vibrations of building next door. In fact, they've already given this thing here a little core presents the center of failure. Debris slopes to center. Well, center's about here, but don't let facts get in the way. Center of it's the mass. Each one had its own center. Incidentally, this is overlapping. Each one had their own overlapping, but here's a column here, and they put this yellow crack down there. That's where that crack exists. Now they had better access than you and I apparently, or something like that. But again, this is where they change their this is where the narrative is going. Surfside is already pointing its fingers at this construction, and they just move this arrow whatever hell they want to. Surfside has already put the narrative out there in their public documents that you need to look no further than the building next door and the columns being foundation being built to cause vibration that missed. Apparently, that's what they're saying. That missed the first building, the current standing building. It blew past that and went to the building back here. So there's some nasty shit going on. They do not want to show this parking deck pulled down existing building, because that would be 3 other tax buildings. The guy built 3 of them similar to this, or at least one more. that would be another one. All the sales would go. Now that would scare everybody, and all the friggin' people would want to start selling at a fire sale. So it appears that's the way the township, town, it wants to allow the narrative to go out. They presented this again, June 29th. So they already know the narrative about what they want to do. So it blows past here and it makes it over to here. Forget the reports that state that this thing is structurally unsound and they want $15 million worth of repair, that they want to take this thing apart, and it's about $15 million. That deck. Let's see if I can find the repairs. So right now, this is the repairs they did in 2002 on the structure. The facades. They bust ass on it. You guys got to look at it. It's 178 pages. It's the facade repair alterations. 2002. They did a ton of work. Every floor, every door, everything, every complaint was addressed. And apparently every complaint was addressed. On this structure here, I wanted to come back here for yeah. So there are the preliminary review plans for 40-year recertification. So everybody tells you they didn't finish it. There it was. It wasn't approved by the city apparently, but there's the preliminary plans. Oh, the repairs. That's what it was. I deleted the page. I don't have it here. The guy's repairs shows you that he was going to go into about 15 million. He was tearing pretty much apart the whole deck down to steel, that concrete deck. What the hell is it? Structural field survey report permit. That was, and he put it up there at some big dollars, at the 10 million, whatever it was. So this is where the city wants to go with this. They're publishing it in their documents under historical, wherever you are. I guess I can give it to that page. Under historical, back to this demolition. Second floor is built like a brick house. You know, it's really, it's really strong, that second floor. So you need to kneecap the second floor to get this building to fall in this direction. And I want to end the video pretty much with showing you again. So that's that rotation pulling back here is what you're looking at. That's the transition of PSI. And I think I'll do an overlay of that. What else we have here? Oh, look at this one. There's your chair, and now look below it. This person got, there's the block wall apparently, the fill-in, the infill, the block wall, and then this person got extra foam. Less foam, extra foam. Now it's a little different setup. That's what made me think different contractors switched up. If you guys remember, at one point I said, "What, that doesn't make sense. They use a different contractor," because here now we see cross reinforcement rebar. So this new contractor, I would theorize he came in for the win at the last 3 floors on this structure, because there appears to be reinforcement in 2 directions, steel reinforcement in 2 directions. And that does not appear on the in the collapse images as reinforcement in 2 directions. You get this weird thing going on. That's there. Now, I just said that. Now look over here. We would need to see the cross concrete there. We don't see it. So that begs the question, why is it reinforced right there? Probably he reinforced his outer wall and the cantilever from there out is what we're probably looking at. And then this cantilever, randomly doesn't get shit. So maybe the person that did this one, I just find this a one-off odd deal. Maybe the person did this overlap here of steel. Maybe they fired him. That person, that worker came in and actually followed the plans and did some overlapping steel. He probably got fired. What the hell are you doing? You're not worth it. Get out of here. All right, so, the building. There's someone on top of this building over here. I don't have the image. You guys can find it. There we go. Can't zoom in any. Oh, now they're not there. Another image they have, you'll see a person standing up. What the hell are they doing up here? It appears they got the same color as the rescue team, but maybe they're setting up sensors or something. But they have us believe that this building's shifting, and they're not really forthcoming on where it's shifting. This building's not one to shift and stop. momentum happened, and then you're telling me it stopped. Sensors went off. Yeah, sensors go off. Some vibration movement over here. People said, "Oh, you don't use a crane to remove this stuff." Well, the crane's already been there a few times. They've taken this down. They've driven on top of this deck with machinery. Um, they've had a crane remove quite a few slabs already. So it's bullshit about the crane. As far as my steel magnet thing, there's plenty of steel here that you could. It's too late now. You're not rescuing anybody. They're dead as shit. But there still has steel in it, and a magnet crane and cranes are beautiful. They really do use them at scrap yards. Um, they really do use them, and they're beautiful. They can pick up cars, trucks, tractor trailers. They just don't use claws all the time. The magnet's much faster for moving materials, and they lift up tens of thousands of pounds. It's a damn crane. It's not a toy, and that magnet is not a joke. I have a new suction machine. I have to show it to you guys. We use it for picking up stones. It's beautiful. They've got ones for moving pavers now. There's a paver machine that we're moving now. It needs to get suction, and it's going to be hard to get suction on a lot of that stuff. But it'd work too. That they need a giant ass vacuum too to suck that shit up. But that one might be reaching on. All right, so going back to here again, looks like the narrative is based on June 29th that they don't want to scare people, so they don't want this data recovered. They want this thing to go down. This second floor is reinforced like a bear. These will laterally shift pretty easily. These guys will. There's this bridge between here and here of just concrete flooring. If you can get this to shift over, it should take out this structure here down to here. We got plenty of beach access. They need to set up mats in the air. They can bring in cranes if they want to really do this properly. You set mats up to protect for projectiles. There's an elastic collision that will cause a lot of bouncing of materials possibly because a lot of materials in here, but we see that the materials in the real collapse didn't really create all that elastic collision, and we don't see a lot of debris over here. So how much of a mats do you need really? This building needs to be protected also. If you're also in turn telling me that all this impact caused this building here to fall down, well, what happens if you drop this building here? Are you not affecting this building to the right? So therefore, they should put sensors on this building before they do it, and definitely put sensors on this building before they do it. They should sensor the entire area to be able to zone to see the direction, the cone of influence of the vibration. So they should sensor everywhere around here. If you're going to be fair about it, or let's just put airbags under there and just push it over with airbags. I'm shitting you. Now they need to use a wrecking ball, which would really help, or just a pair of giant excavator come in here and start nibbling at this, and nibbling at it as I showed you. So finish clearing out most of the debris. The excavator can drive onto that mound. Yes, there are people there. I'm sorry for you guys. But you drive on top of that mound, that gives you your height to excavate, to pull at this. It won't come at him from here, but this is fair game to shift at the operator and kill him. So it's more like a side deal that could take place. Shear planes, are they there now? So that puts us back to what's most safe on this structure is a wrecking ball. A wrecking ball is the most safe thing to go at this structure. And that's my opinion. Take care.